Live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the beginning of stream. It's rare I make 3. It's rare I make 3 in a week. I've been skipping too many streams. Oh my god, what the fuck is this? An important reminder about your upcoming appointment. When is that? Friday. 6/12. That's not anytime soon. Because of those stupid AI-generated robot dog, panda, etc. ads on YouTube was running a few months ago, my fiance and I will add powered by AI when talking about something we think is stupid. That's funny. Into the lexicon goes the ineptitude of the tech bros and their little toy called AI. It's not artificial, it's just not intelligent. It's just... Twitch chat just is, right? We can't say they're intelligent, and they're not artificially intelligent because they're not intelligent to start with. All right, let's get... Oh, wait, no, not that. We're doing this. There we go. Hello, YouTube. Welcome. We're getting on Twitch, we're getting solicitations for AI-powered chatters. And it's like, okay, I don't really need that. I know Bucklington has been having trouble with that lately as somebody signed him up for stuff like that. And it elicits a chuckle once. Anything beyond that is just dangerous for the channel. Really dangerous. Like Bucklington being a 300 to 500 person stream going up to 20,000. That's not the attention that you want your stream to get. What do you mean? What? What, did I bump something? What the heck? Why don't you work no more? 30 seconds ago, you were working just fine. Did that work? The cute dog works. I see, I can't catch it in time. What happened to Spinny Light? What the fuck? I plugged in the fart box, which presumably... Let's test the fart box. I had a power outage overnight. I have a 109. Mine on Rabaz keeps reminding me that I'm at 150. It's like, hey, do you want to announce your 150 stream streak? And I'm like, no, please never tell me that again. I don't want that information. One of these days, I'm going to skip a complete stream intentionally. It'll be like a War Thunder stream or something. Actually, the day I try to break the streak so that I'm not as embarrassed about the Rabaz one, he'll find some fascinating game to play. It'll be the next abiotic factor. Have you tried not having a power outage? Yes! That was a very expensive, uninterruptible power supply, but it sent the signal to my file server to pack it up when I had a power blip overnight. We had, I mean, this area had some pretty crazy storms, so we had a lot of trees down and stuff. Compared to most people, I barely talk in his chat because I watch while cooking. It's an investment to watch an entire streamer stream, and I honor those of you that do that. That's very kind of you to stick it with us for the entirety of a stream. But yeah, I mean, you know, I do like to not just be watching streamer do thing because that's a little brain rotty. All right, let's try this again. There we go. I wonder why it like hiccuped like that. I try not to stay the whole duration of the UO streams because it is late for me too. It's towards the evening for me. One thing that I do really actually like, I'm shocked about with the way UO operates is that he's able to do one project a stream often. I don't know where he leaves off on some of the I don't get to see that part, so maybe I'm not as aware of it, where he doesn't actually finish something. I'm sure there are times when he doesn't finish something and shelves it for, you know, another day. But as far as I can see from my perspective, he does a lot of this like awesome, like, here's this crazy project that I'm going to cobble together in one day, and we'll test it, and it'll like audibly fart, and then we'll laugh and we're done. That I can't do. I can't do that. I can't. I wish. Last evening it was 3 a.m. still awake, and I was like, nope. Yeah, there's a point in time when I also don't trust myself to say intelligent things while watching streams. Djibouti Show was doing an absolutely brilliant job of watching infomercials last night, and they were hilarious. And at a certain point, I had to tell myself, like, hey, this isn't. You gotta shut up, brother. You gotta let them have their stream. Hey, how did I get that right on the first try? I need like a pusher, maybe a tiny screwdriver, just a little one. Let's get this a little closer. I'll do this on camera. This will be the start soon intro. I'm just putting this stuff away. But it's still going to confuse the ever-loving hell out of people watching. They're going to go, bother, if you're not streaming, then why start streaming, if not streaming, and stream. And I go, what are you? Why do you talk like that? You're scaring me. You're scaring chat. You're scaring them. Womp, 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 womp. All right, so that's backed up just as a hold. That's not a reflection. That is the LM1117. It's creating quite a bit of heat because it gets 12 volts in the system. It's only running about 70 milliamps, but because it is so warm, it's heating the plastic shell. Now, this is a unique issue. This won't bite. I wonder if I need to lift these a little bit. Or if I just artificially have the case kind of lean in. I guess that's probably the strategy. This is the annoying part with these projects, is when you have a part that's just a little bit off model. Womp, 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 womp. Just do that just so I artificially lower the deck so that these have a little bit of thread to bite into up here. Can't do it much or else it's going to look like that. That or these just don't get threaded in. That might be the solution. Will the knobs cover it? They won't. Okay, never mind. Oh, that's hideous. Julian, what are you doing? What are you doing? Ew. He's got to find knobs that have like the skirt at the bottom, but you got to have enough clearance for this to push down. That's why these I love. I got these on AliExpress for real cheap, and I need to buy like 1,000 more of them because they're awesome. They're metal, they're aluminum that's been anodized black. They've got dots on them, which I don't really need, but they've got this wonderful metal knurled feel. These are rubber. These are rubbly. So it seems like I can't really fit anything on that. I could always 3D print something that I could put on there, but my whole thing of dropping the nuts a little bit isn't going to do anything. Let's just get the rest of these on. Actually, wait, let me get my tool. I'm going to get my my thingy wingy for doing Thonky Kongs. None of that was English language. Actually, it's very British. Hold on, I gotta go get it. I gotta get my tool right back. I can't do the whimsical British speech on demand. This thing is great for plastic, but it's I gotta maybe get some felt for it or something. Because the metal versus whatever material is down here, I don't want to scratch it when I'm putting these things in. But I guess we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Let's just get these things on here to start with. And then I'll probably have to take them off at some point too, because I still have to install the screen. This thing is nothing without its screen. Can't see without his glasses. This is an 8-ball mix from the Space Cowboys. Those on YouTube get to listen to silence, but if you want to find it, they have a SoundCloud. It's one of the more popular tracks on here, actually. These chill mixes are good for a nice little stream intro that I can talk over, basically. Nice little call from an AI offering to sell me solar panels for a house I don't own. That should be a law enforcement punishable thing to do. Because when you put an AI to making all of the phone calls, all of your cold calls, you're essentially just spamming everybody. It's just running a spam operation as you sit on your big ass and don't do any work. By the way, BTS Viewer went live again, and it's on PStorm. My Aegis is responsible for this, but https://p-storm.codeberg.page/BTS Viewer. Probably make a command for it a little later on, but this has all kinds of cool features. You can search for your name on the board, and you can hit the play button, and you can see how things go down chronologically. This is all thanks to all the information that I put in the database. One thing that wasn't provided to my Aegis was the G-code for the Twitch TV Oh Bother banner at the top. So there's a big gaping hole in the middle of the board. That's fine. Nobody cares. But but if you want to see all 5,999 or 98, I think, names that went onto the board, here you go. Actually, my Aegis, if you've got easy access to the database, how many names went on here? I just want to correct the record. Oh wait, 44,413. There it is. It's really only 4413. I thought I got a count of nearly 6,000 out of this thing. I thought I saw 6,000. I once tried applying to a job that required applying through an AI. Oh, Jesus Christ. And did not apply after seeing there was no way to avoid it. Several months later, they had a huge security vulnerability discovered. Yes, everybody's moving a little too fast with AI, as is typical of something like that. They're just moving too fast with it, and that kind of thing is just going to happen. This is cool, though. I'm glad this is back up. My typical, the thing that I bitch about more than I probably have any right to is that these programmers, and I don't mean to single out my Aegis because this is amazing work, and my Aegis has been around the chat for a long time. They are a long-time viewer and friend of the show. But what'll happen is these programmers will come to you and they're just looking for a cute little project to do that'll look good on a resume and they can have fun programming. And so they'll say, hey, can I get your database so that I can make a little thing that shows all the names? And you go, sure, why not? And they go, sure, I'll host it on my weird project, emporium and not update it, and then it dies, and then we don't have access to it, and I can't do anything to it. And this is very, very kind of my Aegis to host and even maintain beyond a month after finishing it, and it works. It works really well. We can go in here and we can find people's names and go, oh, I remember that Twitch user. I wonder if they died of COVID. Do you remember Dr. Plugger? I wonder if Dr. Plugger died of COVID, or if they're still roaming the earth. Or Chimera Swede. Maybe they died in the Swedish Alps. How did Sausage Toes die? Is Big Bass pushing up daisies? Or did they become fish food? It's fun to think about how all of these people died since they've been here. Why isn't Carl Brutana still watching my show? Did Have No Ammo live up to the allegations? Or did they change their name and move to Tijuana? Nobody cares about Foldster. Anyway, it's fun to go through the names. Goon Pontoon and Cock Smoocher being larger on the board is hilarious. The funny, haha names started very early into the run of the board. And the larger names came in first. The double outline names, like Sink Pissing Champion. Sink Pissing Champion, I think, is Flatulent Gonad's favorite name on there. He mentions it a lot while playing My Winter Car. Twitch has a particular sense of humor, the users. Oh, the Protestants at YouTube are not gonna be happy I'm showing these off. Yeah, this treated gift subs like they were regular subs. So the people that you see on here may never have interacted with my stream at all. They were just gifted. I think Mia Khalifa's on here, who people seem to know. I don't know why. There's a couple others. There was some Ninja is on the board somewhere. Nine times, apparently. How does this highlight them? I don't know how we find them. Oh, it centers our view. Okay, so I'll just do this. Ah! Ninja Bando, Ninja Breadman, Ultimate Mall Ninja, Ninja Breadman again, Ninja X, Ultimate Mall Ninja. Oh, maybe Ninja, maybe that's the other board. Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, it was pretty early on. Maybe? This is the second board. I wonder how Pizza Train's doing. She used to live in Philly. Might still. I didn't know it was only 4413. I thought we got to 6. Or just almost 6, but I guess we were almost 5. We were 500 names away. Back to what I was doing. But you guys can pull it up on your own. Maya just linked it in the chat, and I can make it into a command in a little bit here. Oh, that came with 2 bits. Thank you for the bits. Shave and a haircut. It's funny, this front panel is an entire circuit board, which is kind of a waste of an entire circuit board. You'd make it do something instead of just being decorative. And then if you're going to make an entire circuit board into your front panel, there's a lot of really cool things you can do with the art. You don't just need to label things on the silkscreen layer. You could label things in the copper and expose the copper, and then you have, there's a lot to do. There's a lot you can do with a good FR4, because you've got 3 layers. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you got 3. Well, actually 4, because you can have solder masked copper and then unsolder masked copper. I can imagine somebody opening their Twitch and being like, I have no idea what that is. That happened to Butthole Tornado. The famous example is posted on their Twitter, but Butthole Tornado, which, oh, this is kind of a shortcoming of this thing. Is it, wait, is it right in front of us? No, it's highlighted red. I thought it was like over here. It says it found it, but since I can't scroll through it, it doesn't target the name. Ah, okay. Well, anyway, Butthole Tornado opened up their Twitch one day or got an email and said, you were gifted a sub to Oh Bother. And they were like, what the hell? So they went and they looked around for why they were gifted a sub in the middle of my stream, and they discovered that it was a board with a laser beam, and they were blown away. They said, this is awesome. And so they posted a little video of it on Twitter, which was later to be turning into X. But for the moment, it was Twitter. Yeah, this thing will only be able to tighten these if the nut's at 90 degrees. It's too thick on the sides, so I guess I'll have to just do this with the flat pliers. I'm just putting as much of this together as I can. No, it's still better to use the tool. I need to like cut the sidewall away, but then it won't have torque. This also needs some kind of felt on the front so I don't scratch the material that I'm... Almost an Engineer says, my actual name is on there too before I changed it. What was it? What was it before? I've only known... Listen, it's been many years. I've only known the almost title. Was it Thinking About Being an Engineer? Was that the original one? Forever Twitter, at least until Elon acknowledges his trans daughter, I'm willing to mislabel X as he mislabels his daughter. It's just a basic tenet of respect. Also, you know, fuck billionaires. Like, come on. Never want to placate those guys. And I think one girl? Tiny screwdriver. What about Twitter? Nothing. But yeah, Butthole Tornado is one of the funnier stories out there. It's like, oh no, my stupid Twitch name got another gift sub. Whoa! It's like, oh, it's the coolest thing ever. That's not even gonna bite down. Yeah, there's just not enough thread sticking up when this thing is like that. I mean, I guess I probably could have pulled the knobs up a little bit and had them stand up more. Oh, is your actual first and last name? Yeah, YouTube tried to get people to do that for a little while, and unfortunately that means that my personal YouTube channel is just in my name, which I don't like. I shared a couple like Project Progress videos back in the day when this room was in the old configuration. It's like, these are under my real name. Like, it's bad. It's not good. Then Oh Bother was always my Twitch name. It's the one that I signed up with for Twitch Plays Pokemon. And back when I was working in Northern Virginia. And I kept it. I was going to change it to rebrand the channel for actual streaming. Because I was going to, you know, I got to think up a good Twitch handle. Yeah, whatever. And then it came to streaming and I was like, I should really come up with something different. Work Verb Design was the one that I made in order to anonymize donations from the Reddit Millionaire Makers contest. But that was using the XKCD name generator. And I kind of liked Work Verb Design because it was like all of that pointless corporate speak that I love to parody. You know, like synergizing and all of the paradigms and stuff like that. Work Verb Design felt like a bunch of idiots getting together to design all of these stupid nonisms in corporate speak. And that made me chuckle, which was enough for me to make that email address. And that probably should have been my online presence, but then Jack and Rich of the previously recorded live stream, which ended 10 years ago. Oh my God, that ended a long time ago. They decided to do like a Beatles and just stop. They just said, we're done, which is very unfortunate because they were a pretty good stream. They needed better audio care. They needed a compressor. Rich Evans needs to go through a compressor if he's live. Since his laugh can pierce the heavens themselves, it'll get through audio equipment because it's at a favorable frequency for things like cheap microphones and audio filters and things like that. It just punches right through all of that filtration and stuff. You get Rich Evans on a microphone and he will break your equipment just with his voice and not doing the wine glass thing. But they struggled along for a little while and they never really figured out audio, so they decided to stop. And on the day they stopped streaming, I'm putting away the most dangerous tool in the shop right now. This thing is just literally just an open stove. It will burn your ass and it won't even blink because it doesn't have eyelids. Anyway, so yeah. People like that are why I have a limiter on all mixer channels. Did you guys notice that I pipe Julian in through the Focusrite 2i2 And in OBS, the Focusrite 2i2 has a very strict compressor assigned to it. The compressor is assigned so that you guys don't blow up your shit when Julian accidentally sends 1 kilohertz at 12 volts through a regular audio channel. But a lot of streamers don't bother to think about those kinds of things. They don't think about any of that stuff. So when I recommend audio stuff to other people, they go, oh, that sounds awesome. I'll get exactly the microphone you have. And I'm like, you need to spend time with it actually tuning it. And then they don't. And so their stream ends up being whispers and explosions because the dynamic range that you are hearing through your shit that's plugged into the high quality audio tools like a nice mixer is not compressed. And when it goes through Twitch compression, it's going to sound a little bit different. So you have to actually vet out those parts of the chain and make sure that you know what's happening to, oh my God, it's dusty over there. I need to dust. Whoa. You know what? Who bothers? Oh, bother does. It's more like, I don't know, it fits the personality of the channel. So, you know, obviously I kept Oh Bother because they endorsed me. And I appreciate that very much. But yeah, it would have been nice if they had kept streaming and figured out all their proclivities. But I think they redesigned the upper rooms of their studio for different purposes, different types of videos that they do. So, and I guess maybe just so they could generally have offices. I plugged my 55 ohm headphones into a Behringer UMC 1820, and it has the power to make my ears bleed. Having a properly tuned limiter is important, yes. Yeah. yes, it is. But like a lot of the example that I have of like people needing to like work on their audio more is that these streamers will think that turning on the air conditioning is death. They say, I can't turn on the air conditioner. I have to suffer in this 95-degree weather while having all these computers in one room. Because if these guys hear an air conditioner, they'll detonate. They will just literally detonate. My chatters will die. And that's not the case. Like, if people are like, I hear a hum in the background, you go, yeah, it's an air conditioner because I'll die. If I stream in this weather, or we don't hear it at all. We don't hear it at all because Twitch compresses it away. If you listen to a clip of your own stream with the air conditioner on, I will bet you do not hear it. Although I don't listen to Twitch with headphones. I think I'd rather have an air gap between the streamer's mouth and my ear. So I listen on speakers. So that may be why I never hear the dreaded air conditioner. I'm in a room with server fans and nobody can hear it on my mic. You made a map of the noise profile and removed it. That's clever. That's a good one. The AI voice stuff you can run on a decently graphics carded computer. You don't need to have like a 5090 to do it anymore. They've kind of optimized it and made it work on all kinds of other hardware. I was wondering if I could run RTX voice on my computer, but in the end, my co-host is the shop, and so we do want that stuff bleeding in to the stream. So I don't do that much filtering here. 10 ESP8266s. Let's get the start soon out of here. I think today what we're going to do is just a little bit of cleanup, and then we're going to build the second one of these. Speaks. You can't sing through NVIDIA broadcast. There's too much latency. Weird. Does that mean you have to delay up your feed? Yeah, I just need something in between me and the filthy streamer that I'm watching. The disgusting, filthy streamer that I'm... okay, here, hold on. Copy that. Here, you guys can watch what I'm doing. You guys can watch what I'm doing in sort of a weird indie way. I like my weird indie shots. So what I need to do is I need to do add com board, and then I can say let's keep it simple. Did I say that? Is that done right? Oh, I can't get this. I apologize. I've known you for more than 6 years, and I do not know Miyagi. The American brain was not primed to deal with those letters in that order. It's not me. It's my American brain. So now if you say board with an ARD, how do you do username in Nightbot? What? Oh, so just literally that. That works. Cool. All right, now we got a couple commands. So now if you put board into chat, you will get a link to Miyagi's I wish I could say your screen name. I'm sorry. These are a little crooked. No, as long as they work. These things hurt to plug and unplug, but I don't think Julian's going to be in the business of doing much with it. Why didn't that work? Nightbot? Nightbot. Kill them. Kill them. I should make Nightbot time you out for that too. So Julian's oh yeah, let's get the music out of here. Sorry, we're having kind of a Friday stream, which is just totally aimless, and we're just getting stuff together. And I'm gonna work on something that's just tear-jerkingly simple. You know, I just get my shit together and just be ready for the rest of the week, right? What's wrong with the California? I don't know. That's too big of a question. Why are you typing that? What is that even? What are you trying to lead me into? This is not a politics stream, and education is very political. I believe that people should be educated, but geez, come on. Just whatever white bread, liberal, commie stance you think I have, okay? That's it. That's the end. That's Bother's politics, and you can just apply that to whatever the hell you want and get mad at it. Just get mad at it. Just get mad. That's all politics is. Anyway, we're not doing politics because our stream is a little bit of a respite from the sort of bustle of the real world. We work on electronics things that are funny and cute, and not really all that inherently political because I just don't want to deal with vitriol. So anyway, listen, I have very right-wing friends and I'm very much left-wing. So you can just apply that to why I have this particular attitude towards it. No, I'm going to stop myself. I like your little wooden toolbox. Are you just happy to see me? These are from Grizzly, and I don't know if they make this one anymore. I wanted to get the one that has the big open area in the middle and 2 shelves, and I wanted to put that also here to hold other equipment. But the stack of this stuff, this needs its own shelf, and I think we need to like spend some time with MakerBeam to make 3 little cubby holes that these machines can reside in instead of being stacked up on top of each other. They all prove their worthiness to be in this location. The hot air station is obviously a staple in building stuff. It comes out every now and then. The power supply is an essential. This thing can do blistering amounts of voltages, but what it can't do are plus and minus differential voltages, so that's where the Agilent comes in handy. And this one's also hyper super duper calibrated, and this one is Chinese piece of shit modules, all stapled together, that are a bit too powerful for their own britches. So they all complement each other's abilities here. So I need to make something that kind of holds them all in cubbies over there. And then on the other side, that's the thermal wire stripper. Don't need that unless I'm building something huge, so that'll probably go back into the drawers. And then the little chugging desoldering station, which is every now and then that thing is useful, although the methods that I use most often are probably the best. Any state that has a minute? Okay, all right, I'm not going in there. Minimum wage should be a lot higher than what it is. It's been the same since the 70s, so it's fucking stupid. Anyway, moving on. No, Nightmare Joker, you can't just fucking start talking about politics when the streamer clearly tried to steer everybody away from that with a little tiny rant. Yeah, Grizzly stuff, not necessarily the cheapest. They're decent, but that's just where I got a bunch of stuff. All right, so my ESPs came in the mail, so we can do the second part of this thing. It shouldn't be all that serious. It should be a little bit whimsical. And I also got my cool scalpel blade. I noticed that more than one streamer had the cool guy scalpel blade, and so I looked around for it online and ended up just buying it on Amazon. But what this is the Maker's scalpel blade. I use the scalpel enough. Right now I've got the Raptor Claw. This Raptor Claw is really good for cutting like plastic bottles. I don't really see much of a use for the Raptor Claw anywhere else other than just simply to intimidate chat. I will cut you. 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 See? Works really well. Anyway, the handle is, why is it so dirty? I don't know if I have any new Raptor Claws. So this one sat in the bins for a little while, and I think it just got kind of gross in there. I should probably pick out a clean one. I just found it, and I was like, ooh, Raptor Claw. But this is a Swan Morton handle, and it looks like they actually embossed Swan Morton, whereas the one that at least Gonad has is just simply printed on. So we've got the Conformete You Are a Peony logo, and that's the one that's spaced out. It's not the one that's close together. The O of the inner circle of the C should touch the outer of the E if it is the proper Conformete You Are a Peony. And then we've got like a QR code for some reason on it. Swan Morton. They've got a little bit of extra grippy stuff as opposed to your typical scalpel blade. I like my normal scalpel blade. This is our normal scalpel blade with the 10A blade. 10A is really good for cutting straight lines and just general knife usage. These are like Finch's beaks. You can tell what the food source is by the shape of the beak. So the one on the right eats bugs, and the one on the left is sort of more general usage. But anyway, so this one has sort of an alternative to the grippy thing. It's a little thicker, which I don't care for or not care for. I don't really care about that. It also has this tiny little ruler on the back, which I assume... Well, wait a minute. Yeah, so that's centimeters. That's not that's not inch. Our boxes back there are inches. The blade shape's also good for scraping stuff like, I'm not gonna scrape my cock with this, or old school window glaze. Well, I'm not gonna glaze you guys either while scraping your, anyway. Yeah, these are, I don't know, it's a scrapey bit. I think it's good at like shaving plastic too. Only for cutting electronics. Yeah, maybe this would be good at cutting traces, because when you have to like sever something, this really kind of gets in there and then traces the blade backwards. So you're sort of more cutting it horizontally than. It's proper scalpel made in Sheffield. What else does Sheffield do? Meth? Can we get meth in Sheffield? Can I use this to get meth in Sheffield? Is that proper? Proper United Kingdom crustiness. I don't know if I particularly love that this is at a weird angle though. But you know, whatever. This seems a little bit more comfy in the hand, so we'll see how it goes with the new knife. And I'm pleased as punch that this came from England. That's neat. I don't know where the fuck this thing came from. It just has the number 3 on it. It has no pride in its own workmanship because it's just a general surgery tool. I think I stole this one from the FBI. Don't snitch. We're not snitches here at Oh Bother. Is this as bright as it could be? Almost. They used to make steel and lots and lots of steel, but it's pretty much desolate now. This is, I don't, what is this made out of? I think this is stainless, so I guess that's within the parameters. All right, let's put these away before somebody gets stabbed. I got 10 ESP8266s in the mail. These things like grow on trees. I don't know when I ordered them. They just showed up. So now we actually have plenty of ESPs and we can make the second spinny light circuit. So let's work on that a little bit. Sheffield, UK, or Solingen in Germany. That's where all the good knives come from that aren't Japanese Damascus blades for a sushi chef. Oh, I actually did buy, I spent like $140 back in the day on a really nice slicing knife. It's one of those blunt-nosed, like Japanese super duper knives. I ought to sharpen it because I use it daily. That thing is awesome. It's a really nice blade. It was actually OctoJ who linked me to it, and I tried to find another link to it to like reference it here so I could talk about it, but I don't know. What the? Oh man, come on. We've been denjied. We got a denji. Bwomp. I guess we can see if it works. These are too clean. I don't like these. They're way too clean. I wish I could find a DRAM tree. Yeah, right. I have a DRAM tree. We planted the garden the other day. This is a pretty good season, actually. Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, they're not quite growing the right stuff. This is DDR4, but still, it's had a pretty good crop. The thing is, a viewer sent these in, and they sent them in, and they got here the day after RAM prices went crazy, because that happened in like a day. So RAM prices went crazy, and I was talking to this viewer, and I was like, what do I do? DDR4 is still expensive at high capacities. These are like 32s. These are the ones from the streaming computer. It's been replaced by these, and as many of them as I could fit. I wish I could fit all of these in. They have slight differences, but it's like, bother, you're sitting on a gold mine. Why don't you go sell those? I would not consider that to be ethical to sell them. I'm going to use them in other machines in here, or not use them and just sit on them, because the price of RAM, what it's doing is completely bonkers, and it's going to stop soon, and there's no way that I could ethically consider myself, you know, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I sold those to somebody for $500 a stick, you know? I'm just not doing that. They're props for my show now. Okay, so all of these aside, we need to check to see that our wonderful bouncing baby boy is still functional with a dent in its skull that big. Holy shit. This is like, you're going to be riding the short bus, my friend. Hate to break it to you. That's a brain damage. If it doesn't work, or even if it does work, we could maybe pop the cap. We could pop the top off of this thing. I really regret starting to see storage media in NVMe and SATA prices increase. Yeah, and not purchasing what you need. Everybody's been postponing the project. I built my computer in 22, and DDR5 was too damn expensive at the time. I planned to build a new one this past Friday, but then everything went crazy. Yep, over the winter. It went crazy. 1 terabyte of DDR4 3200 used to be $1,200. Now you can pay that for one single 128 gigabyte module. Jeez. I should have gone RAM crazy. Everybody tells you to not go RAM crazy, and I think they're crazy. They're the real crazy. The people that tell you not to buy a lot of RAM for your computer are crazy, because nobody considered like what web browsers would become and their usage of that RAM. Because a web browser is a goldfish. It will use what it can get to the effect of giving you a nice, smooth experience on the internet. I went back to replace an old hard drive, and it's ridiculous how expensive they seem now. Our platter drives are still cheap, right? AI doesn't give a shit about platter drives. Spinning disks are even expensive now. Shit. Because that was my contribution to computing. I used to be a big gamer. I'm still a gamer and I'm still big, but you know, we used to get the latest and greatest systems and maintain those latest and greatest systems through and through. I still see some people like Rabaz maintaining the best systems that he can, and it's like, you can't live like that anymore, man. We are not the primary customer for high power computers anymore. You can buy a decent computer and it can languish for a significant amount of time, because the heyday of my gaming was in the early 2000s. I don't need anything beyond those graphics. I'll play Abiotic Factor until I die. I don't need a crazy gaming computer anymore. I don't need the latest and greatest. Have you seen the people that play the latest and greatest high graphics games? They're insufferable. They're insufferable. I can't cohabitate the same spaces as they do. They're completely and utterly insufferable. And there's no consoling with them anymore. It's gone. It's the world that we knew is gone. Everything sucks. What was I talking about? I blacked out. No, it's like, you know, those spaces have changed and the nature of those games have changed, and it's just not me anymore, man. I like my dinky little weird games, and I do not need a super crazy computer in order to play them, so I have not kept up with any computer stuff. I will just drop in and say, hey gamers, how's the computer stuff going? What's the latest and greatest? And then I go, wow, that's really neat. Why is that like that? Oh, cool. Okay, bye. And then I'm done. Like, I have a computer for the next 7 years, and I will continue to play Minesweeper. Because again, AI is like, hey, can we have all the greatest and awesomest computer hardware? And for some reason, these companies are like, of course, we'll guarantee that you're going to purchase this much, which will put our profits absolutely fucking crazy. Our stock is blowing up literally and killing people. And then the AI company goes, that's awesome, because we're going to do super awesome when we get all your computer stuff. And then our profits are going to go absolutely fucking psycho. And they go, like, it's just a big circle jerk, and it's going to blow up soon. It's very disheartening to be a fan of computer hardware right now. I had to get out of the game and just not think about it anymore. I'm still running an i5 6700. More power to you. This thing is a GTX 970. Or no, the 1080 FTW went to the streaming computer, and it's getting good use out of it. I did, just for the memes, I did a computer project, but it was right when stuff was getting hard to get over the pandemic. So I had a hell of a time sourcing a computer build. And since then, like, my friends who build computers have moved on to new generations of hardware. And I'm like, why? Like, I haven't run into a game that I can't run at the highest settings without my computer even coughing at it. So it's like, computers are weird nowadays. They're very weird. Plus, you can go to Linux and get so much more life out of your gaming computer now without it phoning home constantly. I prefer a Quadro card instead of an RTX, as I do more card type work than I ever play games. Interesting. I mean, I guess I would probably be in that boat too at some point if I bothered to look at that kind of stuff. That's the thing. Having a 200 gigabyte system paging file on a crucial T705 drive is awesome. I can't even tell when I fill a 64 gigabytes of RAM. That's kind of crazy. I don't know how I would, in my dinky little home computer, could I do something like that with all of those RAM cartridges, all the RAM stuff that I have over there? And just plug it into PCIe and hope it does good stuff? I don't know. I still have a Vega 65 for my secondary PC. One of the things that I should have done when I started streaming, we got to make sure these go to the right place. One of the things that I should have done when I started streaming was put together like a real blisteringly powerful server and put it in like 2 rooms over, and then just use virtual machines and remote into the server in order to do my streaming stuff. because that way all of the like completely cursed drivers that I have to install actually, or maybe just setting a restore point, like a once a week restore point on the machine. And then I would file server all of the stuff and then restore point back to where things were. I don't think, maybe not a virtual machine, because we do a lot of stuff with the COM port. We do stuff with, we fiddle around with COM ports every now and then. These are toxic. These are going away. These are 0402s. And when I say I can't solder 0402, you should know that generally a human cannot solder it, because as superhuman as I am soldering, this size of resistor is completely cursed. You can see, even in this little programmer, they were hesitant to go to these smaller sizes of components. These are just not serviceable. It's just not cool. And if your design is using them, don't. I'm throwing these out. I'm throwing these out. I'll purchase more if I ever need it. This is 0603, which is solderable, barely. If you have RAM issues, you can totally set up a paging file for a swap file. I mean, I've got RAM sticks that I could put in some kind of a thingy. I don't know what the thingy is, because I don't know computer hardware all that as much as you guys do. You guys really, like, you're throwing around all these terms that I can barely keep up with. Okay, so mostly putting stuff away is happening. We're going to check on our poor little brain injury here and see if it actually works at all, or if it blows up my whole setup. And then I've got a couple other things that I really kind of need to put away. I don't know where I'm putting these. Encoders, I guess they can go with modular stuff, but not the thonks. These will go with the switches and stuff that I've got, because switches get stitches. Where is that? I still have like a whole handheld computer that I need to find a purpose for. That might be the add-on computer for the sim setup. I think I might just strap it to the simulator, and then, you know, it'll be portable when it needs to be. Blah. Okay, so those are all organized. Throw that out. These are a little low, but they do work. And then they do this to the, they're a little weird over here. Probably the original ones that I planned on would have fit a little bit better, but, you know, it'll look okay. I think Julian's going to have to, like, do some soul searching. But I helped him as much as I could. He's getting a lot of this stuff for free. Just because I am who I am, and these are parts that I should stock, so. And I've known him for 20 years. More than that. Why is my cable tight? Oh, because I'm standing on it. Okay, sorry. I have to check on this cable or I'll unplug myself. I have 3 actively used PCs in my house, and all of them run DDR4 memory. God help me when I need to replace all of them. I think my gaming computer is 5, but this one is, the stream computer's 4, and it got that upgrade from the viewers sending those RAM sticks, because they were not worth that much when they got sent in. Would have been nice if they were larger, but beggars and choosers and all that. So my only option would be to run some kind of like a swap file card thing. But then again, those are 32 gigs each, and I've got like 5, 6. So it's not that crazy. Yeah, I don't know computer stuff that well, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to languish and sit on those RAMs that I could turn into money. But that handheld PC, I don't really have much of a use for. I barely ever use it because I don't really have time to sit down with a handheld PC. I'm hanging out with the dog, doing all kinds of other stuff, working on stuff over here with you guys. What are we doing? We're build up another one of these. If I were traveling more, that PC would be very much useful. But and then, you know, can I get that to run the scanning tools for my car? But am I even going to own that car much longer? I don't know. I got to make a decision on that car. I would like to keep it running forever. It's just that body damage is bad, and I feel bad. And I don't want to spend... I bought the car for $4,000 before used cars went crazy. The price of everything went crazy. And so if I go to a body shop to get the repairs done, it's going to be another $4,000. What's the point? But then what level of car can I get for $4,000? I can get like a go-kart for that nowadays. Because for some reason, all of my hobbies got stupid expensive. All of the cool guy hobbies that I had that girls don't do. Girls don't do. There's a couple of you out there, and God bless your souls, but you're not going to meet a lot of ladies doing this stuff, folks. Bother may sound like a cool and nuanced person, but not a lot of ladies in my life. Not a lot. Yeah, anyway. All these hobbies are fun, but they're, for some reason, ballooning in cost. We had a good run. All right, anyway, let's get number 2 together here. I'm going to try to move the voltage regulator on this one so it's not constantly exploding, and then we'll try to find a wall wart for it so as I can put it somewhere else. My girlfriend somehow ended up nerdier than I am after dating for 10 years. There's a lot of wonderful progress in previous generations, or sorry, upcoming generations in the nerdy stuff actually is kind of cool. Like, that's a wonderful new perception that everybody has. It wasn't like that back in my day. Not for sure. Being a nerd was not cool in the 90s and 2000s. Happy that that's turned around, but... All right, so I need to mount this stuff in here, and I don't know what width. I mean, I can literally just put Captain tape over it, and that would tolerate the temperatures, and it would hold it in place and not short out. Dating for 10 years, go get a ring. You know, everybody goes at their own pace. Okay, that goes back to the blue tack. Where's all my other blue tack? Oh, there it is. I don't know if I should have gotten blue tack because it's kind of a gross color. They have like gray stuff. Yeah, don't lose the nerd. Yeah, listen, I have news for you. If you're going to lose the nerd by not putting a ring on it, then you were going to lose it by putting a ring on it anyway. Like, streamer I used to watch all the time, gave up streaming because couldn't be broke and unemployed forever and promptly started playing Magic with their friends every weekend. You could just do that while streaming. I mean, what? It's very fantastic, but sometimes I'm like, wait, why are you the one getting excited about this, but not me? Yeah, guys, newsflash, girls are people. They're just people. They're just people. There's no special alchemy. They're just like you and me. Although we're not people, we're nerds. But anyway... All right. Mounting this stuff. Hot glue, I don't think is going to cut it. Not that we're trying to cut it, but I mean, we're trying to just mount it somewhere. I would love for it to just hang out inside of here floating like it is, but I really do kind of need to put it somewhere. It sort of just needs a place to be. What do I do? I mean, I feel like hot glue is going to overheat. I could just put like Captain tape down over this stuff and hope for the best. Our wire distances got all befuddled because of the changes that we made in this thing. So to try to get them to make any sense, maybe double it around. I could just put like, just poop one piece of Captain tape on top of this thing. Man, I'm sweating. Why am I sweating? The gesture of expressing, you don't have to keep linishing back what you, it's okay. We understand what you said. It's okay. This is the third time you're redefining what you said. All right. How are we going to attach this stuff? I could 3D print something. 3D printing little clips would be probably good. But instead, I think what I'm just going to do is, well, tape is bad. I shouldn't use tape. Maybe the VKB tape will withstand temperatures a little bit better. I don't know what the specs on it are, but it's all I got. Well, actually, I don't even have that. Where's the VKB tape? Where did it go? Where did my tape go? There it is. It's way back here. I was exasperated trying to find parts for the crimes and ornamentation build, and things got a little rearranged up here. Not to say that it was ever organized, but at least I had some semblance of normalcy for where things were located. VKB tape is a wonderful material. It holds architectural things together. It holds your car together. The mirror on my car has a little piece of body colored panel that is held on with a strip of this stuff. This stuff is extremely versatile in holding things together. It's just sort of a nice foam tape that is extremely sticky. It doesn't generally leave behind a residue either. It's nice like that. It doesn't really transmit heat either because it's a closed cell foam. So there's like plastic and air between your things, and it's got a nice soft smooch to it. But it holds my whole world together. Yeah, so I'm going to use little bits of this stuff, and it should hold all this together. The one concern I have is that pulling it off will rupture circuit elements on some of these setups that I have. So what I'll do is I'll put just the tiniest little strip in the center of this, and that'll hold it down to this thing. Instead of hot glue, because this stuff gets warm, and hot glue does not like temperatures. All I needed to do is not rattle around inside of the thing. And I don't know what the temperature limits are of the tape. I don't know where I should start to get concerned. So if that fits in there, barely, that's not what I wanted, but okay. Because when I pry this up, I won't know that all these circuit elements are under it, so. Then again, this is just ESP8266s, so these are liable to break at any point, and I won't lose much sleep. I have some of that holding an HDPE sheet on my wooden keyboard tray. A little heat on the HDPE to break down the smooth surface, and it bonded perfectly. Huh. I don't really, sometimes when I install this tape, I will fingerprint it, just tap it with my thumb in order to get some finger oil on it so it doesn't hold as hard. You can kind of selectively weaken your double-sided foam. Double-sided foam tape is a staple of electronics projects. It's really a good finishing tape for holding your stuff in place. I know having the antenna right next to a metal tube, all this metal is not good, but it is always going to be in a stone's throw of the router. Now I gotta watch this one back here, so I'll put a little square right in the middle there, and that'll just hold it still during operation. Oh, we need to clean up this. There's still stuff at the bottom. Maybe I can pry it up with a screwdriver. I mean, a little rubbing alcohol would get the hot glue to run away. Ooh, that stuff is not going anywhere. This is that alternative hot glue, and it's like a little stickier. It's a little tacky just to the touch. All right, let's just do a little strip here. Then we'll work on the other light in just a second. I don't know if I like the look of this one with the ridge here. I guess the other one has that too. They're just a slightly different design. Huh. It does have the appropriate look though. The 3M adhesion promoter wipes are amazing with that stuff. Interesting. Adhesion promoter wipes? So it's probably just like a mild acetone to sort of help break the plastic down and have it mix into the adhesive better, would be my guess, but I'm probably wrong. It's probably just a really good cleaning solution, so you get clean adhesion. We don't want that. We don't want anything like that. I literally need this to hold it into place slightly, so I'm going to thumbprint it and then put it down. Get all the wires where they should be. That'll go right there. Okay, now the voltage regulator. I am reluctant to put anything on this. There's no consideration for mounting at all on this. I think what I should do is stick it vertical in the middle. So this thing, the wires need to come this way. You guys can barely see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. These are not the most accessible things. I guess what I could have done is taken the whole spinny bit off and then worked on this flat. Not acetone, but similar. Yeah, they wouldn't just straight up use acetone because acetone is a little too strong. It'll do some damage to the plastic. Just like that, I think. So it's just sitting right there, and it can't hit that, and the red light is visible. And then I'll deal with the wires, because the wires are all over the place. Yeah, I guess just a facing a face up piece of VKB right there is all I really need. MEEK, I don't know what that is. Some kind of nasty stuff, huh? Was that the acetone thing that I used to try to break down PETG? I think it might be. Some kind of life-altering chemical. Good in cocktails. Delicious. Yeah, VHB or whatever this stuff is. Really good stuff. VHB, yeah. I need to order some more. I'm sorry, taste. Methyl ethyl ethyl ketone. Oh, God. Horrible stuff. Too many ethyls. It's like an old folks' home. There we go. Okay, now my sticky pad is exposed. I'm basically just holding on to the header with the tape, so hopefully it doesn't take anything with it when it peels up. But now this is in the open air, and it's not going to heat up just one side of the whole thing. Okay, we need to find a wall wart for this thing. 12 volts, 1 amp. Do we need it? Does it need to be 1 amp? I mean, it'll go above an amp, or above, it will approach an amp for very brief amounts of time when it's starting up and when it's getting on Wi-Fi, and when it starts the motor, it'll spike just a little bit. So I don't know if I really need an amp. Let's see what 12 volts we can find, because really we need this plug on the end of it, this right angle barrel plug that has this particularly small opening. It's a pretty common barrel plug, but still, let's see what we got in the bin. In the bin. I don't know what voltage the fart box uses, but these have to be 12 volts because all the stuff in them is 12 volts. You thought I was sitting there, but no, it was a bin full of plugs. A lot of these little 5-volt ones, that's why I had no problem taking them apart. You can taste it in the air. You're supposed to wear an activated carbon respirator when you use it. Yeah, all those ethyl branches on it. Oh, jeez. Because yeah, the other really horrible solvent that I had was the one with ketones in it. This is 15 volts AC. What was this for? Whew, it's heavy. This one's just a whole damn transformer. Let's see. 10 volt, 1 amp, 1.6 amp. That's actually perfect. Oh, but it's not. It's got a laptop plug. That's not going to happen. Because remember, we ran it on slightly less voltage and it was pretty good. 12 volt, 1 amp. Oh, that's the guy. As long as it doesn't burn down my house. Let's see what plug it has on the end. Have the plug, have a plug, have a plug. Ah. This one might be good for the other one. Let's see if it works at all in the thing anyway. Oh, and it works great. It just doesn't, it doesn't do right angles. There are adapters. I might even have one. Five volts. That one's USB-C. What is this even from? This seems nice. Oh, from my DHO 914. This is the original power plug, but I replaced it with a USB-C power supply. Just a general service one that was a nice quality one. iFly. What? 12 volts, 1.5, but it has a this plug on the end. Or does it? Or does it? Wait a minute, that one's cut. Oh, it's tiny. Never mind. Switching power supply, blah, blah, blah. I just need something like that humble little 1 amp, 12 volt supply. I think that's all I got. So maybe repinning this one is the answer. This one was 10 volts though, right? Action Tech. This one's 10 volts. I think it'll probably operate at 10 volts just fine. MI424WR. Huh? What even was that for? What in the hell? We had a 12 volt, didn't we? This is a 5. That's the good 12 volt one, the one that's sitting over there, but it doesn't have a right angle plug. We could always, I guess, rip the plug out and put a new one on. I don't really want to do that though. Maybe I may have to buy power supplies for this. I like to keep the wall warts, but they're only good for certain randomness. And then the other spinny light can get the one that's on the desk. Plus, these are of dubious quality. I don't know. They should have safeties on them, but... You can get it in bottles, but it's better than single-use wipes because it evaporates too fast. The bottle's a waste of money unless you're spraying the whole thing. Good for sticking epoxy paints to plastics. That's kind of neat. So remember that it exists at all, but I don't really need to promote adhesion because the VKB that I put a whole thumbprint on, yeah, ow. Damn it, that really hurt. Folded my whole nail. All right. Yeah, I just cut myself on it. Perfect. Yeah, so I definitely don't need to promote adhesion on that thing. What I do need is a shorter thumbnail that's not going to fold as soon as I touch something that it doesn't like. Was this the thumb that I glued back together? I think it was. No, this is it. That one's doing fine. That is a nice little gouge. What did I hit? No, I think it was the edge of the ground wire that just perfectly cut my thumb. No, that's too close. Oh yeah, I must have, yeah, that must be it. Must have pressed it against this little jutting ground thing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get a paper towel just so I'm not showing off wounds. All right. Let's see how this thing heats up. I'll plug it back into the power supply for now. Flush cutters are the best nail clippers. They do really well. They do really, really well. They make a nice smooth nail edge too. I'm sure there's better out there, but for our purposes, they are the best tool within reach to do that job. I may have to put a little Band-Aid over this cut just so I'm not showing it off. Yeah, let me go get a Band-Aid. I got obviously I have that kind of stuff readily available. While I'm working on stuff, you're sweating a lot and there's a lot of blood flow involved. So if you get a tiny little cut, it'll often kind of be a little bit more dramatic than you would expect. So I always try to get a little Band-Aid on it, maybe a little antibiotic ointment, just because I'm also a diabetic and we got to be careful of infections. Really? I have a special pair that I polished with a stone for clipping. That's awesome. Well above and beyond the Call of Duty on that. All right, hold on. I got Band-Aids over here. Alcohol wipes. We could do alcohol wipes on it. I guess people came home, so I'm like talking a little softer. I hate that. I have a certain level of showmanship, a certain level of crazy yelling that I do into all the stuff to make it theatrical and fun. And when other people are home, I'm like, I got to be careful about volume levels because it'll sound weird. But I actually don't. They wouldn't actually criticize me on that at all. Where are my Band-Aids that I so carefully ordered and selected to be next to all of my diabetes stuff on this shelf that you guys never see? It's not here. Where are my Band-Aids at? I don't know what I did with them then. Was there a drawer in the drawers that had Band-Aids in it too? Maybe. Maybe they're over here. Maybe they're with stickers. My collection of stickers. By the time I find them, I will have stopped bleeding. Well, that's an ancient stickerama. I wonder what that's for. Yeah, they're still bleeding. Still bleeding. Do you guys want, do you like my lighter? It's got Mao Zedong on it. No Band-Aids in there. Okay, well, can't locate them. I guess we'll just live with it. I used to have a pack of Band-Aids that was kind of like readily available, but then I organized, and now I don't know where they are, which is just a great result when you're organizing things, huh? Where's the paper towels and electrical tape? Well, currently we are gripping the paper towel. We're at that stage. If we were trying to continue to work for a while, we would do electrical tape. I think that's actually going to calm down now. Okay, cool. So let's put 12 volts on this thing again and just see how it gathers heat. See whether or not I managed to break it just by mounting everything in it. Because now it's not going to have stuff rattling around inside, which is a little bit of peace of mind with something like this. Step 1, plug the power in correctly. Stripe is ground. So stripe is, son of a bitch. Is stripe ground? I know the tip, the middle piece is our power. I do know that, but I question myself every single time. And the last time I did this, we blew it up. So I want to get it right. It's like that one detail that you know you can't get wrong and you just get it wrong. I have a 50-50 shot at this. Fails with regularity. Ohms. Center pin. Okay, and then that is, the stripe is the center. Okay, let's double check that. Let's double check that. I can't trust myself anymore because I've blown this project up too much. The center pin is the stripe wire. Yikes. I should get my shrink wrap labeler and just label this. So power goes to stripe. And if you clip to last stream, I go, the stripe is ground. Like I'm doing something here. If I was like super duper nervous about this, I could current limit the power supply so that when I power it up like this, I can just really be sure, but I don't current limit little projects so much. Yeah, so the labeler that I have, the little thermal labeler, has shrink wrap like cartridges. So just like these regular cartridges that you have for shrink wrap or for regular labels, they have, where is that? Yeah, this one. No, wait, that's not it. Whoa! Legoland! I'm gonna cough, one sec. Lord Bezos, receive my offering and smite thine evil ads, begone. What's up, Legoland? Thank you for subscribing for 3 months. 12 millimeter, 1.5, whatever, 12 inch by 5 foot. I don't fucking know. Heat shrink tubing, black and on white. So you can just put this in the thermal labeler and you can print a label on the outside of heat shrink tube, which is, let me tell you, if you are doing a control cabinet for something like a CNC machine, because you can have a diagram that you can print out and paste on the wall of the CNC machine or on the door or whatever. And then you can have all of your wires labeled end to end so that if you need to replace a component in it or trace out some problem you're having, you can trace out by name both sides of that wire. Pretty cool stuff. I feel called out because this is what I did on the brewing system that I have, and it's brilliant. It's awesome. These are really worth every penny kind of thing. Because that day when you go in there because something blew up, you're just like, oh no, and then you're like, oh wait, no, actually I know where I am. Okay, 12 volts on. Normal amount of current. Red light's on. Blue light on solid. And then I toggle it. I'm going to send it a test. We still work. That's going to be 30 seconds until that turns off. I should probably have an on and an off button on my end, but they've been around for a while. Yeah, and having the labeler label it means that everything is legible. Because God knows, whatever situation I'm in when I'm putting that thing together, I do not have good handwriting for. The times that I've had to like write on and then shrink wrap, or like you write it on the label on the plastic, it always gets handled so much that it just becomes a smudge. So the what do you call it? The printable labels, and I like Brother. I like their products because they don't like. They feel like the only printer that has not like driven you away with drivers. I used to have a Brother label. Sorry, not label. A Brother. They're a big company, so obviously they make like everything, but they're like a Mitsubishi. They make all kinds of different products. But their printer way back in the early 2000s, I had a laser, black and white laser printer, and no IDs on the cartridges that hadn't been invented yet. Basically all I did was just throw a bunch of powder into it every now and then, and it would continue to work through my entire college career. And then everybody got Windows 7, and Windows 7 did not have drivers for that printer, so I sadly had to let it go. But that was the most long-lasting printer that I've ever had. So I like their products. I think they make decent stuff. So they make a labeler, and there's an updated version of that labeler, and it takes the same exact cartridges. So if you have a bunch of those, you have like the clear backing with white text, you know, white with black text, and then any other iteration. You can also get shrink wrap covers. So pretty cool. I have a Brother regular label printer, and it works pretty well. Well, if it takes those cartridges, then you can probably get shrink wrap for it. Shrink wrap I would only do for wires on something like a control cabinet, where, you know, you're going to have to go in there in 6 months and figure out what the hell's going on. And that's like sort of a de facto Sparky standard for that sort of thing. Okay, so that's one of the spinny lights pretty much done. I'm going to have to order a power supply for it. Just add that to the list of things. At some point, that screen is going to come in the mail, and we can finish off Julian's crimes and ornamentation. I may do that off camera because it's going to be kind of not that exciting. It's basically put a little hardware on the screen, screw it to the front panel, solder it, poke this thing with USB, send it a hex file, and then test to see if the channels work. That's going to be it. It's like 3 simple things that could have taken up our whole Friday today if we were better and we ordered that screen earlier, but I could have sworn that I had all of the correct screens. It's unfortunate that it was just like a harder to find thing. Windows 7 didn't have drivers, 32-bit drivers and 64-bit Windows 7. Otherwise, the XP drivers could work. The companion software installer, debatable. I don't remember, man. It wouldn't install. And there was no support for it at the time, so because it was a much older printer, and I didn't know computer stuff as well. All right, man, I had to see the printer go because there's literally no support for it. Those are cool for inside cabinets. I prefer printing labels with an inkjet and placing them inside clear shrink tube. Interesting, for anything that might end up in the heat or direct sun. I see. So yeah, if your control cabinet is going to be like in a field in the sun, it'll expose the heat sensitive stuff. So inkjet paper with a clear shrink wrap over the top is the solution for that. I'm going to keep that in mind because that's smart. Angel View is our place where you can donate, and they really do help handicap. Whoa. Angel View or the handicap stores for power supplies? I never thought about that. I mean, we have a Goodwill nearby. I think my grandfather was involved in Goodwill in kind of a big way. My British grandfather. I don't really know, though. I only hear murmurs of this about my family. Things that I don't know. They're dark secrets. But we do have a Goodwill that I could try to look for. But I don't know. I don't want to deal with any of that. I don't want to deal with stuff that could explode on my wall. I would rather just buy something new-ish and deploy that. Let's see if this ESP8266 is dead, and I'll get a whole $1 refund for it. They got a little racetrack going around the property for their wheelchairs. Oh, that's kind of neat. They're one of those billionaires, or was it a billionaire? It was just some guy decided to start a company where you could get wheelchairs much faster because the medically deigned like official wheelchairs weren't like quite mobile enough for some people, and it takes a long time to get them, and they're hideously expensive because they're medical products. And they decided to make a like a slightly lighter $1,000 wheelchair that was like super good. Jerry Rig the phone bending guy. That's Jerry Rig everything. Ah, that's the guy. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's a really cool business idea. It doesn't need to be non-working to refund in that condition. We're just having fun. This is a $1.50 microcontroller, so we could potentially get that can off of there. Maybe I could get the big scary hot plate back. The thing about the hot plate that's worse for me is that it's so big. There's like, I got one that had a decent amount of real estate on it, and as such, you have a giant open like cooking surface. And so me getting in there with tweezers in a way that's stable, like usually I'd like to brace myself nearby, but if I do that on the hot plate, I like to have skin here on my hand. So I don't know how, maybe I can just pluck it, but if I mess up plucking it, I will knock over all of the circuit components beneath it. Let's just see if this thing powers up or if it blows up. I'm interested to know which it does. The other ESPs I literally just threw in the garbage. I probably should have not done that, because we could take a look at the ones that blew up. The 946C doesn't actually get hot enough for cooking. Yes, I tried it. What do you mean? If it gets hot enough for solder, it should be able to cook. You the hairdryer tech? High heat with a blowout nozzle? No, I mean, I would use, if I tried to do that, I would use my heat gun, my $30 Chinese heat gun that looks exactly like my friend's $60 German heat gun. He decided to jump the gun with the heat gun and buy the nice one, and I bought this crappy one, and mine has been used more and to better effect than his ever could. That thing I keep around because doing the lighter thing for shrink wrap is very terrible. I always burn the shrink wrap, so using hot air to do it is great. Otherwise, I'd be using the actual hot air station. That chat bought me, some of my first viewers bought me this hot air station, and it's the Louis Rossmann version with the 45-degree bend nozzles. I do have TIG welding gloves. I don't know if that would be a good idea. Oven gloves. I have TIG gloves that I could maybe try, but I don't think I just want to take that risk at all. But okay, let's see if this thing works. Where's my programming cable? Programming cable. The thing is, if this blows up, this takes out my USB-C hub, or my USB 3.0 hub, the powered one. It's in a metal box, and I've mounted it to the side of the desk hard. And that goes to a USB-C hub. And if it takes out the USB-C hub, that was expensive. That goes back to the computer. But if it messes it up, my camera, my keyboard, my phone charger, everything electronic over here dies. My Stream Deck, oh boy. I'm taking risks. Just as I suspected. It's not on. Yeah. Looks like it shot out all of the cereal garbage that these do at the beginning. And we're not seeing an explosion. Let's open up Arduino. Oh, I forgot to do this ahead of stream. This is going to take forever. Yeah, it seems to be working okay. Maybe we could replace the can with one of the broken cans. Let me see if I can pick an ESP8266 out of my garbage. The things I do for stream. There's one. Careful. Okay. No, don't go deeper. It went deeper. It went deeper. Don't. No. Okay, got it. Yeah. Yeah, we can take the can off of another ESP and put it on this one. The nice shiny new can. There's COM5, so it looks like this one works. All right, we're gonna refurbish an 8266. Let's do it. I'll get out the burninator. This thing always makes me nervous. Always. And the day it doesn't make me nervous is the day that it kills me. All right, we can turn this off. Do they even make 8266? I mean, ESP12, whatever. Dumpster diving for science. I wish I could do more dumpster diving. I wish. I mean, if you talk obsolescence in these microcontrollers, sure, the ESP12 is obsolete, but you can still get them for $1. And the one that isn't obsolete is like the ESP32. And it's like, I don't need 32-bit processing on something that's going to get an MQTT call and just flip a goddamn switch for 5 seconds, right? You relegate tasks. This is what I'm talking about with like designing things for the Arduino. The time that you actually put the brakes on your processing power is for the end of your microcontroller project when you're looking to count beans and sell it. But at a certain point, these high power giants of computing with like almost a megahertz speed, it's just not needed for these little dinky little things, right? We just don't need it. Oh, dangerous pad. What wonders are we going to share today? I love building things with obsolete stuff. Yeah, obsolescence, I mean, if they make them still, you know? If you can still find them for $1, maybe I don't consider them to be obsolete. Am I going to need long tweezers? I think just regular tweezers will be okay. How am I going to grip this without ripping this? I can stretch these a little bit. I guess I could have put tape on the two sides. That maybe would have been a good idea. Now this is too hot for me to tape. Yeah, blue tack. The ESP32 is the one with Bluetooth. The 32 doesn't have, the 12 doesn't have that, but it's low power, so it's still made in because of that. It's basically like a little tiny RF thing that you can add for $1. These GVM, the Good Video Maker lights that I, and for some reason the Tiger King, use, these have a microcontroller and then an ESP12 that's just added onto it. So what I need to do is I actually need to reprogram this so that it works with my MQTT stuff on the network, and so it spits out the serial signal that'll give these lights their properties, and that way I can get these lights more managed. They'll always be powered on, but they'll at least digitally work with us better. All right, so let's get the microscope here. I don't know how I'm going to cleanly... Does it say PA because it's in Pennsylvania? Yeah, there's so many different ones. I don't know how I can tell when this thing gets up to soldering temperature. I feel like I need that sacrificial board from yesterday. Oh, I put it away. Ah. The thing about the RF cans is that you need heat all the way around it. That's where the skillet can really excel. It's just that the metal right now is bending the PCB below it. So I guess what we're going to look for is this thing kind of settling down. It's going to be tough to get all that heat in there, so it's probably going to have to stick around for a while. Actually, before I do this, let's get it out of here to cool off. Hold on. You'll come with me. I need to put flux on this. I need to put flux around the perimeter. So pick this up and put this on my sacrificial FR4. So while that thing heats up, let's just scooch it out of the way. Ooh, it's not quite cool yet. Get all the wires out of the way. All the wires out of the way. We need a nice clear work area with something this dangerous. Nice and clear. Everybody's happy. Paramedics are on the standby. There's like 300 different ESP32 modules, not all have Bluetooth and or Wi-Fi. The variations of dev boards. Yeah, I've got a couple of them. And especially the sleep features and stuff are different. All right, so I'm going to do tacky flux around the perimeter of the can. Cans are notoriously difficult to work with. Obviously, they block all of your electronics. They keep out the RF and they're cheap, but generally the design of these cans, if you're dealing with something that's not as cheap as this, it would clip off, so you could actually get in there. And sometimes they have little like chambers of the can over top of all the equipment. They're basically just there to block RF. But when you remove them, you need to either get chip quick around the entire perimeter, which lowers the soldering temperature, or you need to use lots and lots of flux in order to facilitate heat transfer. Now, when I remove this one is not potted over epoxy. Otherwise, we would be fomenting a bomb. This would essentially be a bomb. Oop, the circuit board just laid down flat. Okay, so here we go. Shit. That moved it a little bit, which is not good, and I didn't get a grip. I think maybe part of it is locked in and the rest of it isn't. Tape would have been a good idea. Woo! It's a boy. All right, now I'm gonna carefully slide these electronics off because it looks like I displaced a couple things in the corner there. Yeah, it looks like a couple things moved. We'll try again on the other one. Can you believe I just got away with that? Did you see what I just did? I picked it up and I went near, near. Can you dig it? All right, a little bit of flux around this one. Yeah, this is dangerous. This is not good. I should have actually designated a cool-down area for the hot plate. Would have been a good idea. Didn't do it. I'm just recovering the can, so it's going to be a little bit mislabeled. I don't know if the two have the exact same labels on them. I'm going to wait for that to get smoky, and it's going to settle down onto the hot plate because there's a couple little solder blobs there that I didn't remove. But they're good indicators that the solder's flowed over. Press the issue a little bit, and just give it a little bit of time. There's a little bit of smoke, too. A vacuum pen setup. Do they have silicone tips on those? No, we're still attached. Put a little pressure on it. Now this is the dead one. I got a little bit of movement, but I don't know if it's making good contact. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's where the bumps are for the solder pads. Whoa! Jesus. All right, let's get this down to cool. This one I blew up. I don't know where the blow up is. One of the chips blew up. All right, turn this off for now because I got to take a look at these a little bit. Take the opportunity to use your fancy solder sucker on the solder filled pins. I don't really want to work over this thing. This is like mad dangerous just sitting here. Let's get this out of here. It freaks me out. I work on a stove all the time, but for some reason maybe because it just doesn't look like anything's happening on top of it. It seems like the most dangerous thing in the world. So now if there are any solicitors at the house, I can just throw this at their face. Scary CAN bus. What about CAN bus? We're going to be working with CAN bus soon. All right, you hang out right there to cool. What the hell is that? Oh, my fan is hitting something. There we go, nice and quiet. All right. Whew. Turn it into a floor mat. No more dangerous than the stove. No, I know. I know this, but I don't know. I'm more scared of that for some reason. Maybe because it doesn't look like a stove. Oh no, which one's blown up and which one's good? The one with the blobs is blown up. These look pretty okay. Can I get closer without freezing the camera? Move that slightly. And then I can use the lens to get a little further in. Yeah. So did I drag anything out in a way when I removed the can? I think these got pushed. Yeah, so I'll either have to use hot air. I can probably use hot air to just bring them back out, but I don't know which ones are populated. Looks like, yeah, because one of them's on the antenna output, which has kind of a weird path. I should have lifted better. Oh well. Okay, this looks like what the configuration was, so if I can mimic that, but I think I'm missing a couple components. Are they stuck to the can? They're stuck to the can. And then that's the one, the recovered one. These aren't hot anymore. No. All right. So let's see, where's side by side? Got a little bit of a challenge here. The one on the can is huge though. Where did that go? It's right here. Well, I say huge, but relatively. Okay, that's the one that goes on the, yeah, see this same color component. Well done. You frigged it all up. Here are some farts. This is far from over. It's just because I dragged it a little bit when I removed it, but we can fix it with my needliest of tips and a little bit of frustration, a little bit of swearing, and little tiny little circuits. This is going to be held down by Captain Tape. Oh no, the farts are encouraging more farts. It's a disaster. There's all kinds of blue tack on here right now, actually, blue tack residues. So I'm going to flip this over. They both have blue tack. How do I get blue tack residue off? Windex. Windex and a paper towel full of blood. Jeez. Willow idea. You give chat these little commands, you'll hear nothing of them. No, so the solution for blue tack on a little piece of FR4 is just Windex and a blood-soaked paper towel. The method has not changed in a long time. That should hopefully get off all the greasy blue. It didn't do anything, actually. It didn't do a damn thing. Here's the blood. This is a link of where it goes. I'm just gonna like put them back. I think they're close to where they're supposed to be. We don't know what the blood does, but I think it has some kind of a dark evil magic to it. I just don't want to anger certain gods when I'm working on stuff like this. Could you afford an afternoon as a newt? I can't. Certainly don't want to be turned into a newt. So, you know, you do it the way that you're told. Okay, so this is a GeForce 4 back end. Yeah, IPA would probably get a little bit more off, but I don't think anything about blue tack is alcohol based. Alcohol is just based in general, but tape. That's the thin stuff. Do I have thicker stuff? I guess I got this one that I'm trying to use up. Yeah. You gotta respect the blood rituals. Oh my god, it's covered in dog hair. There's all kinds of dog hair. Ah. When I'm not streaming, she'd spend the afternoon napping under my desk because it's very cool down here. And she is a corgi and as such is built for Welsh weather, not Pennsylvania weather. Circuit. Okay, so if I were using hot air, this would be a good way to hold everything in place, but I'm going to use the iron. Oh, but I have to get under there. That was too far. Too far. I went too far, chat. I went too far. Listen, I'll apologize. I'll cry on camera. I'll use 2 pieces because I'm trying to use up this infernal tape. You know, I had the right size sitting right in front of me, but then I found the reel of the stuff that I want to use up, so I'm just going to use that anyway. So we'll put 2 pieces of this stuff down. I also could have used this to hold it to the oven, but it's faster if you can pick it up off of it. Not oven, hot plate. Hot plate. Eat hot chip and lie. All right. We are now not going anywhere, and so I have impunity to move around the circuit as I please. Let's first harvest this. Now, you may be tempted to just pluck this thing away. I need to use the iron on it because otherwise you can pull the end of the component off. It's got a little pad there and the adhesion is not incredible. So I am going to be careful when I pull this thing away. Random number generator, Jesus. Yep. Just waiting for my iron for 1 second. That looks like good Captain. Am I the only one that thinks Captain smells like crap? I don't smell it. I don't have a good smell for it. This is the darker stuff, so it probably is pretty good. So this component, as far as I can tell, this one goes right here. Let's see if we can pick it up. Ow, the metal's hot. Ow, the metal got hot. Ow, 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 ow. Stupid 300 watt. Where'd my tweezers? Yeah. Problem with this component is that it's so tiny. It's so small. He's just a little guy. Oh, look at me. Hello. I'm little guy. Little component. Oh, yes. Hello. How am I going to get that little guy into alignment? The plate looks like a creeper on the small cam. I believe that's where this one came from. We'll see. Ah, come on, man. The needle tip, I don't know the efficacy of the needle tip iron. I'm not too excited about it. I guess I could remove a little solder from the end there. We also have the components from the blown up ESP that we could use on this. But why are we doing this? I don't know. These things are $1. It would be better just to buy another one and just not worry about it on this level. I'm flexing micro soldering skills right now. Hot plate and tweezers. The problem with hot plate and tweezers, maybe if I put it towards the edge of the hot plate, I would have a better time, is that I'm not stable with tweezers that close, that far over a hot surface. I have to get my wrists near it, so. The problem with the desoldering braid is that it solders itself to the stuff. So if I can get, why did I do that one? I should have done the other one. What is it? Okay, what does it look like again? Oh, we're actually on the pads over. Huh, okay, so that's where that goes. Please let go. It's like static electricity will hold this thing on. Actually, it's just flux that usually does it, but it's like attracting it. Get off. Oh my God. Please. Thank you. Jeez. Yeah, these might be, well, no, I think they're a 402. They might be a little smaller. Like, this is so frustrating to handle and move around. So that one, does it go all the way on the end, or does it go close to the end? Don't push me, because I'm close to the... Okay, it doesn't go on the end. It goes right before. So where the line is, this one and this one. To be kind to myself, I'm going to put down some tacky flux, and I'm also going to get rid of the solder on this pin. This is the inability to put down the component is one of the worst parts about this size of electronics. Technically, I could do this all in one operation. I could put the components on top of where they should go with tacky flux, and then put the can down where it should go on tacky flux, and then use the motion of the ocean, use the hot plate in order to, or hot air, in order to put them down onto the solder. The hot plate's going to be needed for the can, just so I can get that area of heat. I'm going to clean off the tweezer tips, though, before I go back in. I have smaller tweezers, but the way that these grip components is more reliable. If I use those tiny tipped tweezers and you over squeeze, they'll sometimes, one of the tweezies will go in one direction, the other will go the other, and then your component goes spinning out of that at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I don't want to do that. Tacky flux, yeah, it's just flux that's sort of a gel, and so it's a little bit tacky. Not like unfashionable, I mean like, see, even after cleaning with Windex, it's still sticking to the tips of the tweezers. What is that? Got like a spot of something on them. I forgot you have twitchy hands. They're not that twitchy. When I can brace them properly, they're the hands of a surgeon. This solder is going to look enormous next to this. This is my small solder. Now, I got to be careful because that component is supposed to go right there. And this is over to the side a little bit. Sure didn't give us wiggle room in here. Oop. Okay, hold on. Yeesh, that's tough. I think I may come in with hot air and just blast the area. Because I am going to need hot air to get these out of here unless I can do the sideways iron. Let me get a little tacky flux on that. Little flux, a little bit of iron. Problem is, as soon as this thing wants to move with hot air, the whole chip will want to move. No, it's not, no. All these components were dragged when I dragged the heat shield. They got pulled in to the chip edge of this quad flat no lead chip. QFN. Who subbed? Smith Clay with a prime. Hey, I was looking there. You just blocked my vision. Thank you for the prime, Smith Clay. It's not, I don't know, I'm just not getting good heat into it with this thing. I don't really want to add a bunch of solder to the whole thing. I don't have to, but I guess I do. This is smaller than I'm used to working with. It's fairly difficult. I mean, I don't know if you guys are getting... You guys don't get a good idea of the scale, which is why all of the people in chat are so overly confident about their own soldering abilities, is they don't see how big or small this stuff actually is. Yeah, it's not moving. I think I'm gonna have to use... I'm gonna have to use hot air. Not re-chipping, no. I took the can off of it. This is one that had a crushed can from the factory, or, you know, from shipping, I guess. And so I took the can off, and now when I did, I dragged some of the stuff. We were gonna put another can on it from a different ESP. So I need to drag hot air into this equation. Let's get the fart box out of the way. This over here. Jeez, don't have a lot of space on the desk. Oh, one of the magnets for this thing broke. These are old. Should think of something else to do with these. Okay, fart box, you go back over here. Should redesign that. Okay. Yeah, everything you do it just makes you feel like you're bumbling at this scale. Oh, we're not even powered on. Oh, this is going to smell funny for a little while. Well, welcome to the new lab smell. I'm sort of taking all of my toys out to try to do this. Let's flip this way, because I'm going to come in here. Actually, I'm going to come in and pluck it with the soldering iron, because the soldering iron's a little bit finer tipped than my tweezers. Unless I can find a really good set of tweezers that have a really tiny tip. Let's check. Hot air is going to make the whole area uncomfortable to operate. Yeah. Hey, you can try that stuff in CAD all day to try to optimize the locations of everything. And it looks great in CAD because you've got that sort of God view of everything in CAD software. And then you go to actually build it and you're like, this is, what was I doing? Everything is so small. It's too small. You know, maybe the little needle nose plier tweezers are going to be best for this. I just do not trust these to hold on to components because I've sent so many into the lower atmosphere with them. If I'm really careful, maybe these would be precise enough for me to pull the resistor over to here. Maybe. I don't know though. These require a little bit more force to close, so I don't really trust my ability to move stuff around with them. They're a little bit more serious kind of plucking tweezers. These are as precise as they get, but again, these are the ones that send components away permanently. Because you see that little misalignment there? If I just put a little misalignment into it like that, that's how it goes into orbit, into the cat dimension. All right, I'm going to use little wheedly little needle ones. There are like so many wires and cables. I can kind of understand why people now love their wireless accessories. Because if I have all this shit sitting on my desk, I could battery power a bunch of this stuff, and then as long as I swap the batteries at some point, they wouldn't be such a nuisance. Using tweezers on this is insane. This is a pick and place territory. I don't have any kind of a pick and place, so we're forced to use tweezers. We can operate in this size. All right, so we're heating up the area around it, and then I've got to get too close for comfort to get these things in there. Oh man, how's that even gonna work? Guess that works. I guess this is just up at heat, so I might as well really kind of put down the hurt. But if I move in the wrong direction, I can move that whole chip. I'm relying on that little strip of tape on the right to hold the chip in place. Praise be to Louis Rossmann and his 45-degree angled tip, what allows us to see what we're doing while doing it. Oh, shit. Okay, and then where does that go? Does that go across that? Okay, I gotta take a look at the other one now. I'm gonna go back to our reference. It does, okay. Let's bring it back, bring the heat back. Bring the heat, bring the noise. I think I would have rather had just a needle to move things around. Shit. There we go. Ah, shit. My hand just completely went crazy. Ugh, I was trying to hold the muscles for so long. All right, that whole part of the board is overheating too. Ouch. Woo. Oh, the whole thing is hot. That one's not going to move. If you guys can't see my hands, I'm doing like double hand techniques in order to keep things from shaking, because my hand just completely like went crazy there at the end. It just went shoo-doo-doo-doo. What the did I just crush the resistor? Why did it make all that noise? Where did it go? Resistor? Hey man, where did you go? What the heck? It was like covered in flux, so I kind of tried to like grab it a little bit harder, and it just like left the building. Very possibly may have crushed it. I think the crushing sensation was from the flux crackling. Let's just see if we can find it. It should be nearby, unless it really flew. At this scale, you really got to kind of scan. Nope, that's not it. A little piece of tack, little piece of whatever it's called, blue tack. We do have another one, but I want to make sure that it's not still sitting there. Well, I'm going to lose this if I'm not careful. What's up, mad of you? I like to rest my elbow on the desk and then go with wrist movement. Yeah, no, that's not easy if you need to hold up your arm with your muscles. That's why I put the pads of my hands down on the desk because it really helps steady things. But I'd use 2 hands to steady for some of these operations. Now that I've rested my muscles a little bit, I can probably eke this into position. Let's see if I can just get that soldered real quick with hot air. Of course, that might blow away the resistor. I don't think the resistor's on the table anymore, though. Yeah, there, perfect. So we're using hot air, and we're operating on circuitry that is way too small. This is under the can of an ESP12C or whatever. And I got one in the mail. It's only $1, so this is not worth our time. But I got one in the mail where the can had been crushed down. So we used the hot plate to remove the can, because you want to have all that solder molten at the same time with an RF can. And then we unfortunately scraped these components a little bit as the can was coming off. So it bunched them up against the IC, and they were off of their own solder pads. So now I've come back in with hot air, and I'm looking to put everybody back in position. And right when I was about to get it perfect, my hand decided to go blah, 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 and everything went in every direction. So now we're coming back in, hot air, trying to get everything right. And just what I said would happen with the bad tweezers happened with the bad tweezers, which is where everything goes crazy. And one tweezer goes in one direction, the other tweezer goes in the other direction, and it flicks your part into the cat dimension, is my best guess. Why isn't this solder? Why isn't this flowing over? Okay, that has to be flowing over right now. I want to just barely touch it with this. What the hell? What, is that a ground pad? Oh, it's so hard to solder? Shit. I don't know what's going on with the solder up there. It's not looking good. No, I think I screwed it up. Oh wait, no, we got it back. Just in the nick of time, but it doesn't look too good at the top there. Whew, okay. Now, the resistor that went to space. It's just a 0 ohm resistor that's shorted to turn on log mode. Well, I'm gonna find it. Every component is sacred. Scanning, 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 scanning. Wow, there's a big solder blob under this. I really should have desoldered those pins before we put this thing on the heater. Let's see. Yeah, this is sub 0402. This is not 0402. This is smaller than that. Is that it? Nope. It's a dust bunny. 3 squares north. At 1080p, you're not really going to be able to help me with this. You could be looking at a dead pixel. We can pull it off for the other one, though. Well, that might be it. No, it's not it. Well, let's investigate anyway. Nope, just a little piece of stuff. Could have fooled me. It is the right size, actually. It's just a little piece of solder. Probably from the solder sucker. These tweezers are a nightmare. Okay, I'm just going to look a little bit more, and then I'm going to give up on this. I don't know what direction they sent it in. I don't know what the possibilities are. The travel could be, it could be on my shirt. It could have made it all the way to the floor, which is like an eternity away, and we'll never see it again if it's gone that direction. So the tweezers just decided to push it in a direction, and then the flux kind of decided to give up, and that was a good recipe for a component launcher. And so either direction that it could have gone, either over the edge of the table, into my clothing, doing a little double check just in case. I just don't see it. This is a size of a component that is just impossible. There's just no way that I'm going to be able to. Never design things in this size unless you're backed into a corner, because everything you do with this size of electronics is a nightmare. It's not going to be black. It's a white dot, and it's not even in focus for you guys. 3 squares from C13. These don't have letters on them. No, there's little pieces of blue tack. There's little ends of wires on the desk. You guys don't have the advantage that I do of having Mark 1 eyeballs looking at this stuff. Plus, we don't really know how far it flew or if it was a component from something else that you're looking at. There's little marks on the desk. There's all kinds of things, but C13 is computer power connector. That's not the piss on cat meme? Piss on the cat? Is that what that is? Like, even under my solder thing, there's a ton of components just stuck in the foam. I don't know why you guys think that you could spot anything. We're working on that. If anything, it would have been in this immediate area, but I guess sometimes they really rock it out. So we just don't know. We just don't know. It could be anywhere. It could be everywhere. It could be nowhere. It could be in this very room. So let's just take it from this one. There's some pretty awesome tools for microsurgery that are less springy than tweezers. You can sometimes get them for dirt cheap from places like American Science and Surplus. I'd probably look on eBay because there's a lot of really cool surgery tools on eBay, but I want one of those like microsurgery setups where you've got the manipulator arms. I want one of those. They're probably so expensive though. I wish I could get a secondhand one of those like micro manipulator arm things. On the Discord. Let me see. You guys are way too invested in that. There. You don't have to at me. So what do you didn't circle anything. You just, that's just the, oh, there. All right, let's see. Let's see what that is. Well, one's the dot. That's wire scraps. There's a little thing there. blue surgical cloth? Huh. Oh, you know, they sell that now. You can just buy that for the shop. It's not surgical anymore. Those are like really absorbent towels. There's nothing up here. Yeah, nothing. This is an 0805, and I'll show you. Well, no, this is an 0603 resistor. It has value printed on it. We are not working in 0603. We are working in 0402 maybe. I think it's smaller than 0402, but yeah, you saw a real resistor. You are not unaware. You are unaware of the vast difference in scale from the two types. But that one was over here, not where you were pointing out something like here, and there wasn't anything. It was a trick of the camera, trick of the perspective, and not being able to see details. But there did happen to be a resistor nearby, but it was a much larger one. What's this? This one is also too large. No, you did not see a resistor. The thing you saw here, I found that here. So there just happens to be stuff all over the desk right now. Whoops, wrong camera. So that's not useful to us either. You just saw like an electron going weird, a little static in the camera feed. 1 by 1 pixel artifact. But we do have a replacement right here, and it's probably a 0 ohm. I could probably actually find an 0402 0 ohm. Oh, we got to make sure that one's still there too. Heat, 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 heat. This is why I use the big tweezers that I use. Look at how far away that stuff is. Is that far away in ours? I guess it is. I guess I could jumper it. Do you have a bunch of wire that's this size? Yeah, see, these hold on to components much better. These tweezies. What the? Who told you could leave? Nice check. No. Ugh, my tweezers are stuck with flux. That's where everybody should go. We just need to make them go there. We stole it from the other board. Oh, come on. You little dick. This is why we don't design things in this scale. I can actually hand solder that back on. Hold on. Oh, the chip was in the way. All right, I do need more flux in this area. I'm going to do this. The chip's height was getting in the way of this. Hey, stop backseating the streamer. He knows what he's doing. All of you. I've been letting it slide, but put the brakes on some of this backseating that you guys are doing. I know it's frustrating to watch me struggle, but I will get it eventually. And it's not like I don't know these techniques. Just that at this scale, there's a certain amount of steadiness that you need. And you may not think, you may think, oh, this is so easy to do. But when you actually start working at this scale, it really messes with you. But yeah, if anybody has a beat on some surgical micromanipulators, the real cool, the stuff that they stitch grapes together with, I would very much like a line on some secondhand, third hand. I don't think I have the money to buy something crazy, but it would be really cool to play with a set of those. And they're not cheap. You find broken ones. All right, come on, buddy. You can do it. I get driven mad doing normal soldering. I need to fix some cold solder joints on a Sega Saturn. I'm dreading the job. That's fun, though. If you involve enough flux and new solder to refresh the components, then you'll probably have a pretty good time of it. Why did that move like that? Is it just not soldered at all? Not soldered at all. Please come back. Please come back. Please come back. Go to your home. If I can get it slightly anchored, then I can get the hot air over there and they'll hopefully rearrange themselves. You want some Sutter units from eBay. The shipping from the EU and then customs is going to be a pain. Sutter units? What are those? Is that what they are? Stuff like that pops up at American Science and Surplus. I know American Science and Surplus. I should check out that site more. Because yeah, that kind of tool would be very, very useful. And I don't know what they're called. They probably have a name. They're the things that are featured in all of those videos of stitching a grape, like a little, peeling a little piece of a grape and then stitching it back together. That would be so awesome to be able to have some of those. Oh man, that would be a prized possession in no time. Put the heat down and hopefully not blow away all the components. Looks like I'm missing something over here, but I guess that's the way it was. What they do on these RF chips is they have components that are 0 ohms and they're for routing the signal to various things. So I don't really know what they're doing over here. I think they're activating or deactivating features, but they'll have components that aren't installed. See that? Everybody just arranges themselves into their configuration and we're happy and we're good to go. We're ready to stitch this thing back together. Just like that, everything can go right in an instant. And we can snatch victory away from the jaws of losing. The metaphor is strained. I'm not going to touch this one because I'm never going to have to see it again. We're just going to put a can on top of it and call it fixed. Oh, I gotta look this up. Wait. What am I doing? Doing that view. I need my browser. Is that what it's called? Sutter? Or is that the... No. Microsurgery hand manipulation tools. Got 25 grand? No. Inomed small bone instruments. Like, there's a market for these tools, so why aren't they more common? Maybe I just don't know what I'm looking up. Nano wrist. Yeah, these little shits right here, these things are awesome. But I don't know if these are hand manipulated instruments, and they're all expensive. Ew, guts. Support tool for hand stability and microsurgery. What? Brochure. Please give us your email, because you can't afford this. Damn it. SU MPC 145-2. Can they send me like a demo unit? And I'll just never give it back? From Sutter Instrument. Okay. But this is like, I mean, yeah, that would be freaking cool to have. Oh yeah, that would be cool to have. Oh yes, that would be cool to have. But that's not quite what I'm talking about. Baseball surgeon. There was a video where a surgeon had these hand tools just in their house, and they were, hold on, let's just move this away so we don't have to watch it. Dissecting grape. No, that's, a lot of them are advertising the surgery robot. I'm talking about, it was just somebody in their house practicing. No, that's cooking advice. I added the grape in there, and maybe that was my problem. But I don't want a bunch of surgeries of videos of surgeries of videos. Oh my God, there's so many things to click when you just don't want to be in like a member of whatever the hell site is hosting the video. Okay. What is the, there's no video here. It's just a picture of a stitched up grape. Oh my God. And then all the results. Oh, there's like AI right in the results. I hate these websites, man. Is this the one that shows it at the end? Because at the end of the whatever video I saw, they showed the like the setup briefly. We'll see if this one gets to it. If this one shows, because we see this graphic dissection of a grape. And I don't have any controls on the video, which is why I hate these platforms. You have to watch the whole thing. Great. Great. Love it. Love it. Can't manipulate the video at all. And we just watch this person savaging this poor little snack. This is the one? Okay, yeah, they didn't even show the tool. Why is this the least interesting thing in the world, not knowing what tools they're using? How skillful is it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just like pre-program. Okay, hold on. Let's go over here. Click on the thing. This one's YouTube, which is much easier to manipulate. So they're showing that, and then towards the end of the video, oh, this is Da Vinci. There's no way in hell that I could get anywhere close to. Wait, where's the? Oh, I put the other window that I dragged away on top of my OBS feed, so I didn't see the video in my thing. No, there's absolutely no way in hell that I'm going to be able to afford anything that has this name on it. No. The video that I saw, it was like a hand manipulation thing. There was an actual person holding those things in like a gantry and moving them around and manipulating things. That would be like, I would love to adapt something like that to surface mount tools for when we have to work at this scale. It would be really cool to have the actual surgical manipulators and being able to do stuff with it like that. It can be a pain, but if the vid is long with no controls, you can open a URL in VLC. Good idea, good idea, good idea. Short Lurker has found the other video. Why is Shortlicker so good at this? Why? Why is he so good at this? Grape. Hey man, are you gonna eat that? Oh, that's Da Vinci. Is it all Da Vinci? Yeah, this is Da Vinci. This is the famous one though. This is the big famous Da Vinci grape video. Ah! Okay, but there's one where it's, okay, so there's one where they're doing the grape stuff, right? They're brutalizing this poor fucking grape. But at the end, it shows the surgeon and he's got this like light area, you know, where there's all the enhanced light for the microscopes. And then he's got these big like manipulator things. They're not like, it's like holding it like a normal tool, but there's a bunch of other controls on the tool itself. And therefore manipulating these tiny little crab pincers. They did surgery on a grape. Yeah, I think it's doing pretty well now. I don't think it went too well for the grape after the surgery, but yeah. That doesn't look right. By the way, everybody, if you want to find your names on the board, we have a new command. Yeah, I never heard about the recovery, but I heard it was touch and go for a little bit. We have a board command, and you guys can check out MyAegis's amazing little helper thing that'll let you search for your name on the board. You can view the board history as names go up. All that information was in the database, and it's all just there for your pleasure. Pretty cool. Everybody can thank MyAegis for that, who's been watching the show for quite some time. Now, I'm trying to clear some projects out for Burn the Subs work. I know there's plenty of stuff that I need to be working on, and this ain't it, bother. This ain't it. I think I'm going to leave the cover off of this one. Microvascular surgeons practices on grape for a very long time before they ever touch mammals. I mean, that's just common sense. This ESP is dead. The chip on it is dead. I have new chips, but I don't even care because this is $1, so this thing's going in the garbage. At Linus Torvalds. He's not in this channel. He doesn't watch my show. He's way more famous than I could ever be. If Linus Torvalds ever decided to rear his head, I'm not going to call him ugly because he's the most beautiful man in the world. If he ever decides to watch my show, my users will suddenly balloon into the 20s of thousands. So no, there's no way that you could just add him. I know he's on the list of people, but that's not, it's probably like a PR Twitch account. It's not the actual person watching my show. When you gift a sub, it goes onto the board just like anything else. So, all right, let's just get the flux off of this thing. And then if I ever use this in a project, I'm going to use it bare. I am not even going to bother with the can. The can's not really all that necessary. But that does mean that I have to look at this jacked up component right here. Let me see if I can just fix that one real quick. I'm just going to hit it with even more flux. This is just an illegal amount of flux. But I'm going to hit it with the solder, or hit it with the hot air and see if it just puts itself back. These are soldered, they're not just hanging out, right? Yeah, that doesn't really look soldered right there. That's probably the, oh, that is not soldered. Okay, so we need to bump this one out a little bit. I think I can do that with, that means I gotta tape it back down. I just untaped it, I thought we were done. We're not done. We managed to arrange stuff just a little bit. And so I've got just a little bit more to do before I can call it fixed and clean it off. So this I can just give it a little nudge with the iron and then hopefully keep it from tombstoning. Iron is on, iron is on. Just a little nudge. This tip is not really helping me out. It's like there's no heat when I need heat, and there's too much heat when I don't need heat. If you want a mechanical one with gears and dials, $777. I'll look in just a sec. It's a fascinating like overlap in functionality between this and microsurgery, and it would be cool to get the right tools. All right, so the tinning on the tip of this soldering iron has become well over oxidized, and so I need to bring out my Radio Shack tip cleaner possibly the most disgusting set of chemicals. Tip tinner and cleaner. See warning on back of card. Custom manufactured in USA with foreign and domestic components. Back in the 1980s, probably. So this stuff is nasty, but it cleans your tip. What is that? Is that mold? I don't even know what that is. Ugh. You just kind of stab the tip into it. Scrape it. Bop it. Flip it. And then clean it in the dry sponge. I've got to be careful about cleaning these needle tips in the dry sponge, but that makes your tip nice and new and tinned. Could use a little bit of work. And this one is starting to bend. Keep your tip on the ice. Is that what they say? So now, more of the surface of this tip should be viable as a heat transfer to that resistor, but I don't know if it's soldered on both ends. It could be soldered on both ends, it's just pushed all the way to one side. Sure doesn't look like it though. Yeah, it's, I don't know, it's borderline unacceptable. Okay, let me look at these tools. Hold on, I want to look at this. Getting distracted, but it's fine. A Silda, blah, 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 blah. Why can't I highlight? RL. Copy. The $700 is kind of out of the range of what I'm going to spend on something like that. If I were making real streamer money, maybe. What the heck? See, the surgeon was actually holding the tool at the end. They weren't manipulating like controls. I mean, they were, but it was, they were moving their arms around in order to move the other end of the manipulator. Which these get you out of the equation, so you can use these micrometers to move it around, and then you can do micro manipulations that way, which is kind of better. That's crazy. So they've got like a needle tool on the end. The Olissa micro manipulator. This is for like working on dies. I mean, these are just micrometers, and they're pushing like barely against these axes that you set up. This is like if you need to, yeah, insert one cell into another cell. This is like, let me pull out this strand of DNA. Like, that's crazy town. He gets so much mail if you send something and he doesn't see it in the next 5 minutes, it never gets read. That's like Gaben. I wished Gaben a happy birthday one time and he actually did get back to me. One word reply, obviously, because he spent about 1/3 of a second on it. $1,013 for the right and left hand pair. Sure, it's got another video. Let me see. Let me see here. Just see how shockingly expensive. No, nothing Da Vinci. No machines between the surgeon and the actual manipulator arms. These were handheld devices that were on a pivot. The Da Vinci machine is crazy, but I would never work on electronics with something that's this advanced. I would never be able to. Can't even afford to talk about this. Ew. Yep, the robot's stabbing the patient. Mm-hmm. Sheesh. Yeah, no machines in the go-between is what I was talking about. I would love to know what the tools are, because it's like this big tube-like thing that you're holding, and you've got whatever you're manipulating controls on, and then it goes all the way through, and it has like a pivot somewhere. I don't know. They looked a little bit more affordable than an entire Da Vinci machine. Hot air, hot air, hot air, hot air. I cast heat. I cast hot air. With any luck, this one will just kind of scooch itself back into place. I also don't want the air to move it around. Nice and easy. What is that about ramen? What, did you just make a bunch of food? I gotta get away from the buldak noodles, the budak noodles. They're good, but not good for me. As is any carbohydrate bomb like noodles. Oh, did that just reformed? Damn it! I was gonna try to just scooch it, but I think I need to add solder. Let's try to add a little solder to this. If I can find where I am, there we go. Ugh. Too much solder. There's this disconnect between what I'm working on and what I'm seeing on the screen, which is interesting because you do get the tactile feedback of hitting up against stuff, but when you actually look at what you've been doing, it's very, very tiny indeed. Very, very tiny. All right, so let's get flux off of this thing and then we'll be done. I'll see if I can, well, no, this should work perfectly fine. We just removed the janky can from the top. I'm gonna keep it open. I don't care. I don't really care. I don't know why these all have cans on them. Some of them don't. They can protect stuff pretty well, but you know, it's neither here nor there. So I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of goof off. And use a Q-tip. Let me go get a Q-tip. I don't think they're Q-tip brand. They're generic, but I have hundreds. You know, I also do have an ultrasonic cleaner, but it's kind of big. It's mostly for 3D prints. I don't know if you should use it with electronics. I mean, it's what Rossmann does, but still. The shield is optional, but they don't call them FCC adapters for nothing. It's all right. You don't have to know everything, you know? You don't have to know everything. You can just not know everything. It's when you get into the subject wheelhouse of one of your viewers and they're suddenly the resident expert. Well, this is what we do, so glad to have you for sure. I'm glad to have so many experts in the subject. The one that really gets me is when you do microcontroller programming, like the hardcore stuff, and you're trying to get your head around a problem, and you've got all of these microcontroller snobs that are chiming in, but they all have to try to one-up each other on the complexity of their solution. So people will they'll give you code, but the code is like machine language. It's so unrecognizable as I was programming like a beginner Arduino project. It's so weird. You can get so into the weeds with the microcontroller parlance and make it completely undecipherable. Yeah, what is it about the FCC thing is that it's causing interference in other devices, I guess? Is that even the right capacitor? I don't know if that one right there is the right one. Which one's the tall one? Which one's the short one? Hold on, let's look at our example. Oh, I've already thrown it away. Never mind. We'll never know. We'll never know. This thing might not function correctly ever again. I think it needs another. But I want to know everything I can manage to learn. Well, good luck. Could use the toothbrush, but I don't think the acetone's going to really agree with it. These leave behind fibers, but the foam ones are like an environmental disaster. And I know there's companies that are dumping black sludge into rivers. We shouldn't be... Our little contribution of using slightly more renewable paper products instead of plastic is not that big on the grand scale of things, but I feel better doing it. All right, so I guess that's repaired, although I can't really speak for the right components being in the right spots. Not to mention, some of those components could have been things that I just found on my desk. We've been working with a variety of surface mount for the past week. It can be programming like in Risk's V basic tasks, but if your unrequested solution for something else, somebody else's problem is machine code, what are you doing? It's not really machine code, but it is bitmath on a level that, this is a long time ago, but it was bitmath on a level that I didn't really understand. That it was kind of not called for, you know? There's flux like in there. I guess I do have to use the toothbrush. I need just a slightly more mechanical means by which to separate, you know, get in between these things so that I don't have a big chunk of flux on my clock. Yeah, remember the medical uses of micromanipulators? Hospitals produce an amazing amount of waste with every single thing. Oh, listen, you're talking to a type 1 diabetic. I know that medical device packaging is incredibly wasteful. It is, it's like a joke how much plastic waste is produced by me just switching pumps. The pumps are a little better. It's the, well, but I'm throwing away an entire pump every time I switch pumps. So, you know, that's part of it too. Companies like Tandem Diabetes are trying to like help with that by making more modular supplies so that the medically, you know, irradiated component is not as much material as the rest of the stuff. So you're not dumping an entire 32-bit microcontroller in the garbage every 2 days, because that's my life right now. That is what I am doing. Boy, that toothbrush did a number. That was actually really nice. Board's a little less shiny than it was, so I'm a little concerned about what the acetone did. I think I may have deposited a bunch of stuff that made this more matte that was stuck on the toothbrush. We might have cleaned off the toothbrush more than we actually cleaned off the board, but there's no longer a barge of flux in there, and it is kind of delightfully matte. It's delightfully matted right now. It's really not supposed to be. I think I need another, because like that gunk, that's not gunk from my board. That's gunk from the toothbrush. Huh. Well, let's put in the thing and see if it functions. Do you fill a waste bin with blood sugar measurement things in more or less than 6 months? Well, no, it goes in the regular trash, so I don't really know what specifically the output of the medical stuff is. Blood sugar stuff, I'm on the constant glucose monitor, so I'm not throwing that stuff out constantly, but every time I switch CGMs, you guys have seen just the sensor pad has this big plastic gantry that I have to use to insert it. I'm going to be forced to upgrade that soon, by the way. I've only got until, well, I've got a couple months left, and then I will use up the rest of my supplies while collecting the new blood glucose monitor supplies, but they're end of lifing it. And so my medical company is going to switch me to the new one. They're like, oh, you get to use the new one. The new one, you cannot do these tricks to keep it going a little longer than its life cycle. And actually with the old one, you used to be able to open these things up and put a new battery in them. But you can't do that anymore. It just takes a big coin cell battery. Very annoying that we can't do this stuff. Okay, so let's see if this one works. I think it will. I mean, this is the one that worked anyway. It worked with a can on, and now it's just can off. We were just repairing my accidental discharge of, well, my bumping of the thingies. I bumped the thingies, and they no longer made the connection. So this should work. Cable. God, it probably smells pretty awful down here with the goof off and the, hello? Let's see. Can we turn this one into spinny light too? COM5. And this thing, is this on? It should be on. There's no, oh no, the power light's on. So the power light is on the programmer. So if I hit spinny light 2, 2220 on topic spinny light, 1883. We can't differentiate between the two spinny lights. I just set it up that way. I could give it another category and have it be spinny light 01, 02, 03, but we don't need to. They can all just turn on and off at the same time. They don't need individual commands. The new one you have to keep buying every 3 to 5 years? No, the new one I have to replace every 10 days. And the inserter is this big giant thing. Let's see if we can set it that sketch and if it takes it. 11:17. We can't seem to get away from those things. It's still compiling. Yeah, I don't have a microscope that I can pull in over here. I should probably do that. Be able to put the microscope on this page. That way I could have a little bubble with a microscope in there. Let's see, scene, frame, frame microscope, thermals, audio, chat, overlay, frameless scope. Oh, I should probably make a frameless one of those. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Wait, why isn't it visible at all? Weird. Oh well, that's fine. Connecting. Beep, boop, beep. Writing 15%. 21, 28, 35. It's taking its time. Profit max and chronic illness should be illegal. That's a big complicated issue with a lot of different facets to it, unfortunately. It is very annoying, though, to be min-maxed by medical companies, especially when they do things to make their products blatantly consumer reuse hostile. It's quite a world we live in. Down there, we got Spinny Light 2, and it's got an IP address. And I don't really have much of an indicator on this thing. If I should have like LEDs on this to tell me if a pin is being manipulated, because I could have IO4, which is the one that we're using over there, connected to like an LED, and then we'd be able to see it turn on. It'd be nice if this thing had LEDs for that purpose. The connection light does not turn off for that. I need to put that into the programming. All right, well, anyway, I just checked to see, even though I know it works, the channel raid light, where it's a Friday, we're not going to be getting many raids, and I think we've got our new ESPs. I'm going to be able to attach those to the equipment to get the second one of these working. We've already seen this thing working. We did a little bit of micro soldering. I think we had a good time today doing aimless projects. And then in the mail, that barking that you may have heard earlier, probably didn't, because again, you got to listen to your audio from Twitch, not from your audio equipment. If you listen to it from the audio equipment, you're like, oh my God, the bird's chirping. I can't hear a damn thing. You can turn on the air conditioner. You can have a fan behind you that makes a little bit of a fan noise, and people will not hear it in your audio because Twitch is not recording it at that high of a quality. You got to match your output. And I think a lot of people are kind of like gear hounds and quality hounds for this kind of stuff, but in streaming, man, you don't need 4K. You don't need all that stuff, right? You can just half-ass it and everything is great. Thank you for joining me. We had a nice little stream today. I got parts in. Parts came in the mail. I think that was the barking. And I'm going to push forward with a bunch of these projects. Crimes and ornamentation. We don't need to see this again. We've seen a work in crimes and ornamentation, so I'm not going to do the full follow through with this. What I will do is get Julian back in, and he will put this into his music making machine, or hopefully it'll have already been in there, and he will be able to use it in conjunction with the rest of his stuff. Julian doesn't really explain what he's doing while he's doing it, so I don't know if we'll be able to get a good explanation of what Crimes and Ornamentation is doing for him, but I think it will be a pretty useful module at his level. I'm going to try to learn a little bit more synthesizer stuff, but burn the subs. We've been talking about that a lot today, especially because Maya just made a thing where you can browse burn the subs for your names. If you've been here 1,000 years ago, you will know that the board is kind of a special thing for this channel. It's what made me. I owe my whole Twitch streaming career to all 4 people watching to that board, because that board made things like really cool around here. So anyway, we're going to work on that. We're going to work on the board next week. If I don't, I don't know, I'm not going to say I'm going to eat something terrible, because then then I might not work on the board and actually have to like eat a shoe. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to make that promise. Anyway, let's see if we can put you, all 5 of you, somewhere so that I look cool. That's the only purpose. I just want to, raid you guys into a channel so that I look like I'm cool. Is Robot's doing like a... No, that's not real. Dwarf Fortress, I don't know if you guys have that particular brand of gamerism. You can go watch Robot's play Dwarf Fortress on your own. I won't tell you to go anywhere. Paleontologizing is doing IRL stuff. Garrick Durak is around if you speak the language. Is that like their first message in my channel, or have you said stuff already? Oh, you've got the NASA badge. Were you in the NASA channel? So there was one that I found for this, has that launch happened yet? Or that's like 6 o'clock, right? Dwarf Fortress is probably the exact stream I need to keep focused on my work. With Rabaz just making little Swedish comments here and there. Yeah. All right. I don't know if I'll raid you guys in anywhere. It doesn't look like any of the people that I would really want to kind of throw you at. Pendleton Ward is streaming too, and I don't know if you guys like having somebody make a game on the channel, but the creator of Adventure Time streams, and his streams are very cozy. That was the Artemis. Yeah, I think I have that badge too. That's a fun badge to collect. I like that. Agenda Free is on. I think they're doing the launch, are they? Tulsi Gabbard, blah, blah, blah. It's political. EJ_SA in caps is one of the ones that I kind of want to look at too. They're watching probably the launch. But then Doug is somebody that I think we should probably raid into, because Doug does a lot of like programming stuff. I don't think they do physical electronics, but I've seen them do some pretty fascinating things with programming. They did what is it, like a Battle Royale breaking of passwords, which sounds awesome. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop streaming. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna finally be done and free. I will finally be free. I will catch you guys on Tuesday rather. Here's the end card. How do I get that wrong? END. It's Dynamite. So social, only Discord. I have dropped all of my other socials. If B-Sky wants me back ever, I would love to go back to B-Sky, because I had a few hundred followers and it's been a while. It's nice to be able to just tweet out little project updates. But anyway, I'm on Discord. I'm pretty much always on there, so you can catch me there. I will catch y'all later. 10-cent chicken ramen pack with 2 soft-boiled eggs, some smoked sausage, and a bunch of Louisiana hot sauce. Well, that sounds good. Was there more than one person during my stream that actually went and made ramen? I'm not going to make ramen. I'm going to figure out what's going on for dinner. I made a fish sandwich for lunch, and that actually didn't cause me to be all burpy. I will see you all on Tuesday. Until then, I'm going to be working on stuff. There will be updates on Discord. Catch you later.